I'm Ashley.
And I'm Jackie. Welcome back to Dumb Witch Club.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
I'm so excited about today's topic.
I know. I'm excited. I'm actually excited too.
Earth signs. Which I feel like excited is actually not the right word because I'm not excited.
Yeah.
I'm not like, woo! I'm not like revved up.
No.
But I'm just like, oh, cool.
Yeah, like this is good. I know. And then I kind of felt bad for saying I'm actually excited. That's mean. Like, I didn't mean it like that.
No, but...
I didn't mean it like that.
You kind of did, but that's okay.
I kind of did. It's okay. They know.
They know,
and they know that we know that they know that we know. It's fine.
I know. Let's do a card pull.
Should we do a card pull?
Let's do it.
Let's do this one.
I love this one.
Chacoli.
Yes.
Chacoli Oracle.
Yes.
It's so cute.
It is so cute. And that's the artist's last name. I think her name's Nicola.
Nicoletta.
Yeah, Nicoletta. Okay.
That's so pretty.
It is. It's so pretty. The illustrations on this are really beautiful. It's like this really soft kind of like... There's a lot of like fairy tale reference in there and kind of like classic story references, princess like Alice in Wonderland-y kind of stuff. Her art's very, very pretty and kind of haunting.
Yeah, it's very dull. It's like those Blythe dolls. It has like that vibe.
Yeah, it's very pretty, very ethereal.
Yes, which is good for this topic.
I think so.
Okay.
Let's do it.
I love the back of them too. The art is so pretty.
Ooh, oh yeah, this one doesn't have words on it either. This is card number 8. If you look it up, there probably is a little title in the book.
Yeah.
But the image here is this beautiful kind of ethereal, like angel almost spirit-looking girl, and she's like riding this insect.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a wasp, but it looks like a fantasy insect.
Yes, it does.
And she's got a little crop and it's like flying and there's a castle in the background. She looks kind of sad, but she looks very like steady and determined and very like, yeah, she's interacting with nature. She's going somewhere. It's helping her along and maybe she's on a whole journey. Anyway, that's what it looks like.
Yeah, she looks like she's sort of like looking out to where she's headed. Looking forward.
Yes.
It's motivation.
Interesting. Love.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does it, yeah.
It's just like, if there's something you're not particularly feeling motivated by, what would bring that motivation around again? Remind yourself of why you're trying this endeavor in the first place. Maybe things are affecting your energy around it and you need to reevaluate and like remotivate yourself.
It seems very fitting to me for earth signs.
It does, very much so. That's something that they're very interested in evaluating for themselves.
Yes, and I think earth signs, as we will get into, they are very steadfast and they want to get a lot of things done, and they often do. So... nice. I really like that energy. And it's very, like, grounded, calm. It's, like, motivation, but not in a, like, peppy fire sign way. Like,
no.
Not in a, like, wave of emotion, water sign way. It's totally different.
It's literally an insect from the earth.
Yes.
And just slow and steady.
Yep. Keep it going.
Makes sense.
How are you feeling about talking about earth signs today?
Yeah, it's interesting because I think it was very obvious how we felt talking about fire. It was very obvious how we felt talking about water. If you haven't seen those, go back and watch them. With earth, it's not as obvious.
It might be.
It might be. But I wasn't really sure how I was going to feel about it. And then when I started putting things together, like I did get like a very kind of grounded, nice, earthy, loving, nurturing feeling about it.
I feel the exact same way. And I think I'm actually really glad that we have done these elements in the order that we've done them in. I think starting with fire, going directly then to water, now coming to earth, and then doing air last. Like, that's not really the order that they go in in the zodiac wheel. But it just, I don't know, it feels right. It feels good. I'm glad we already did that. And obviously the fire and the water are are our signs,
Yeah.
Our sun signs. So we were very much like,
Yeah.
in our ways of feeling about that.
Sure.
But we have some very personal interactions with a lot of earth signs in our lives as well.
We do. And they're necessary, and they are grounding, and
They're necessary. They are.
They are. They're pragmatic.
They are.
We need that.
They are needed for things.
They are needed for things. We do love them.
We do.
We do love them.
That is true.
We do love them.
Yes. So maybe
Yes.
first we're going to talk about sort of the commonalities
Yeah.
of earth signs. But
Yeah.
first, maybe let's just name off what are the earth signs.
Yeah.
And then we'll kind of come back around and go into them individually a bit more.
Specifically, yeah. So there's Taurus first, then Virgo, and then Capricorn.
That's right. So
Yeah.
these are the friendly friends that are included
Yes.
today. Oh, I don't know if that sound is audible, but there's a cat scratching at the door.
There's a friend at the
outside.
door as well. He was like, "Friend, that's me."
He's not an earth sign, though.
He's not on Earth sign, no.
Not at all.
No. We'll get to him at
I know.
some other point.
Okay, so let's start with what is earth energy in general?
Earth energy. Earth energy, it's stable.
Yeah.
It's grounded.
And how do we know this is we think about earth,
Earth, ground.
in the literal sense.
Yes, it's, yeah,
The earth.
the actual Earth.
It's what we are all on, what is under our feet, ground, the literal ground, grounding us.
Structure.
It is structure. It is sort of taken for granted, I would say. It's just there.
It's just there to build upon.
Yeah. And also, though, I was thinking about this. It's very diverse and complex, though.
Yes, it is.
It is not simply earth is dirt.
Dirt, right.
It's all of everything.
It's everything.
It is dirt, I guess. But it's
Sure.
also the rocks and the landscape itself, the way
Yeah.
that it's formed, desert, mountain,
Yes.
forest, whatever. It's the things that are growing in and out of the dirt in the ground. So it's it's a lot.
It's a lot, and it's beautiful.
Totally.
And it's beautiful in a very unassuming but awe-inspiring at the same time kind of way. Also, like you said, a little bit taken for granted because it's just sort of the landscape, it's sort of the background, it's landscape, it's the setting. But then if you really do stop and pay attention to the setting, then you see all of the beauty about it, and then it really does make you feel all of these sort of different feelings
Totally.
about it.
Yes. So just thinking about the literal earth and all of these things, that is the energy that then translates out of each of their signs
Right.
in a different way. And it's the people who are earth signs are really exhibiting these qualities that we were describing, where they're there and they're really just there for you.
Yeah, very much so.
And it's not that they don't need appreciation, but they don't even expect that a lot of the times. They're just doing what they do, and they're there. And you might take them for granted sometimes because they're just so there. But we don't want to do that, obviously. It's not recommended. But I'm just saying, they're just so present.
Yeah, that just tends to happen because of the nature of the element. It just tends to happen, that you... Not that you're unappreciative, you are appreciative.
Right.
But also, they don't really elicit a lot of that because there is such a sort of intrinsic drive to do what they know they need to do, or what needs to be done, or what the right when I say right thing, I don't know, it doesn't sound quite right because it almost sounds like I'm moralizing it or that they're moralizing it, but that's not necessarily true.
No, but I think you're right. It's not a moral right or wrong type of thing. It's more just I think earth signs, all of them have this kind of collective ability to look at a situation in a very practical, pragmatic way and be oh, well, this is what's needed first, and so I'm going to do that. And then that's what's needed next, and then we'll get to that. And it's, in that sense, it's like they do the right thing. Like they do what's needed at the time that it's needed, and they just see it that way.
Yeah, and they're really good at seeing that without other things getting in the way. Like, obviously, again, depending on all of the different placements that make up a person and stuff like that, we always have to say that caveat because, you know, some people are going to hear this and be like, that's not how the earth sign person I know acts, or I don't, or whatever. But just purely looking at the earth sign energy, like,
it's trying to isolate it from everything else.
It is intuitive, very intuitive. They just know, like, oh, well, if we do it this way, if we do step by step like this, then that's going to be what accomplishes the thing, and that's fine. I can do this, and then I'll do that later, and it's just very pragmatic.
And it's not really demanding energy. Like, I would say, and as a triple, quadruple fire sign, like, fire energy is pretty demanding. Like, it comes and it demands attention, and yes, our earth sign producer is nodding voraciously as I'm saying this. I think water energy can be a little more demanding. Air energy is quite demanding. It demands a lot from you. Yeah. And I think that's where also, so this is taking me to another point that I didn't realize I was getting myself towards. Earth energy is another night energy.
Yes, it is.
As water is another night energy.
Yes.
And I think it just kind of is a reminder of the complexity. Because also I'll say, like, fire energy, as a triple, quadruple fire sign myself, again, we're not always that complex. Like, we're all complex, but it's kind of like fire is fire.
That energy isolated in itself is not. Yeah, you're right.
I think earth actually is way more complex.
It is.
As water is.
That's why.
And that's kind of that night feeling.
Yes, and they're what they call congenial signs, because they really do balance each other so well. Totally. If things are in balance, earth and water, well, you know, that's what makes the trees, and that, you know, you need the water to create what makes the earth beautiful.
Yes.
And it's this beautiful symbiotic relationship. And yes, that flows very well. Those two elements do that. Whereas fire, I think, struggles a little bit more with that, and air really just does not get any of it.
Well, yeah, and like, well, and now, I mean, whatever, we go off into that whole thing of like how air and fire also create a symbiosis that is very different than the water and earth symbiosis. Anyways, whatever. Okay, getting too far off, but I think, so I was just, I don't even know what my original point was now, but it's a night energy.
Yeah.
It's complex. It's very intuitive.
It's not as demanding as what you were saying.
Not as demanding, right. Which, again, I think comes back to why it can be easy to sort of take this energy for granted or not recognize, like, what's even going on with it.
Yes, very true.
But there's a lot.
There's a lot going on there. Yeah, and I think that's maybe what you meant. Like, it seems so straightforward and so sort of logical and pragmatic that it is easy to just be like, oh, that's just always there. But then if you dig a little deeper or you bother to pay attention, then you will see the complexities behind that. And that you really should be thankful for what's there, because it is what allows all of the other things to take the stage and to be paid attention to and to demand attention.
No, it's very true. Another really common factor amongst the earth signs, I would say, is the concept of work.
Oh, yeah.
Each and every earth sign, in a slightly different way, depending on which one it is very identified and aligned with work and themselves as a worker and what that means to them. And it's like a very prevalent quality.
Yes, it is. It's very important to them in a variety of different ways.
Yes. And I think it's funny because, again, just to contrast with like myself or even with you, because I know about you, like we have jobs, we enjoy them, we're passionate, we care about them, we do them well, all of that. But like if somebody was like, you can't work anymore, I'd be like, okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
And
great.
like, here's all the other things I can do instead.
Exactly.
You know, someone who's more of that earth energy, they might be like, oh, but then what am I going to do?
What do I do? Okay, cool. But, okay.
But then what are we going to do if we're not working a lot? What are we going to do? And it makes them very like, they don't know what else to do. They love their work.
They love their work. And they'll create work for themselves if that's the case and they don't have it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely.
Uh-huh.
So, and again, I say this, I've said before, one of my daughters is a Capricorn, and yeah, it's just all over her.
Oh, yeah.
You know, she says the funniest things.
She says the funniest things.
You know,
she has the best Capricorn-coded lines.
Absolutely.
Anyone, like, daily, we're like, oh my gosh, that's the most Capricorn thing like anyone's ever said in their lives.
I know, and I feel like, so let's maybe get into each of the 3 signs, but I do want to give this example of what we're talking about before because I don't want to forget when we finally get to Capricorn.
Yeah.
What she said today. She was going off to do something, and so I told her, good luck, bae. And she said, I don't need luck, I have skill.
That could be
that's the most
Earth Capricorn
sign
motto.
Capricorn shit I've ever heard, right?
It totally is.
Yeah. And I was like, yeah, all right, girl.
You were like, yep, should have known. Never mind.
Yeah. But that's the kind of thing that we're talking about. Like,
yes.
And it's also like, it's so confident and it's so charming at the same time.
And unassuming, like,
right.
Just to your point, like, you were saying it to be supportive, not, really thinking, you were just saying it, to be that. And they're just like, yeah, like, don't you notice that I always do everything well? And it's like, well, actually, no, because you
just do.
So then I don't think about it. And that's just further to that point. But, like, you're giving a piece of advice that, like, most people would just sort of, like, take off the cuff. And then, but to them, they're like, yeah, I do this all the time. Just because you're not taking notes doesn't mean it's not happening.
And I was also like, I know that. I was just saying, like, good luck, like, goodbye.
That's
like,
what you say.
I was just saying it. Sorry.
I love it. I just really do love it. It's so great.
Oh, anyways, we will come back a little more to Capricorn, but let's start with Taurus since it is the first in the zodiac wheel. Although, you know what? Let's not. Let's stay on Capricorn.
Okay, let's stay on Capricorn.
Because Capricorn is the cardinal sign.
It is the cardinal sign.
Even though it's the third, if you start at the beginning of the wheel of the zodiac and go around.
Sure.
Let's start with the cardinal sign.
Let's do it. Why not? They would appreciate that, I think.
I think so.
Like,
well, the Capricorns would appreciate it.
Yeah, they're like, move us up. Let's go.
The Virgo's like, I'm still in the middle. Who cares?
Yeah, the Virgo's like, I'm always the middle child. And Taurus is like, sweet, I can just like lay back on the couch for a little while longer. Awesome. Love that for me.
Yeah, and like plan in my head all the shit that I'm going to do. Like, yeah.
Totally.
And everything I'm going to say to you when you come and ask me about this, because you will.
Because you will.
You'll come to me. I know. I'll be there.
We will. All right.
Oh, Lord. Anyways, okay, let's stay on Capricorn. Capricorn energy is very, all of the things that all the Earths that we were already talking about, but specifically Capricorn is that cardinal energy. It's that initiating spark of practical, material effort and gain. They're very ambitious.
Ambition is palpable.
Yes.
It reads off of them.
Absolutely.
Like you will, if it is a Capricorn sun or rising, they have been described as ambitious, industrious. Any of these terms have been applied to them. It's been written on their report cards or somebody has said it. I don't care what they do. I don't care what line of work. I don't care what they do in their lives. Somebody has said that about their energy before.
Yes. And I think it's really important what you were starting to say is this doesn't mean that they all are rich or powerful or want to be.
No.
They can have very varied goals and very different ideas of what their ambition is leading them towards.
Absolutely.
And all of that is completely valid. It's not a stereotype of some version of success and ambition that they have. It's whatever it is.
Exactly.
It has that intense, driven quality, their work towards whatever it is.
Absolutely. It's a very self-motivated, self-driven, conceptual idea. Yes. And it's, sometimes I think that people might misconstrue a Capricorn as a fire sign because of that, because there is so much passion when it is something that they're passionate about or something that they feel a sense of, what I've noticed, that they feel a sense of responsibility around. They take that responsibility very seriously. Will they take on others that they don't feel responsible for? Probably not.
Oh.
And they'll point out that that is not part of that realm of responsibility, or that they have no interest in taking on responsibility in that realm because it does not contribute to that value.
Yes, and it's because they want everyone else to take the responsibility the way that they do.
Yes, they do.
So they're like, so I'm all this responsible for myself and my ambition and my goals and my work, and then you want me to take care of you and yours? Like, no, you take care of yours.
Yeah, that sounds like a
because
personal
I'm
problem.
taking care of mine. Yep. And like, that's what you also need to do. So no, you're totally right about that. And I think that also starts to remind me of like, Saturn.
Yes.
And Saturn being,
Saturn.
Oh, yeah, so our little friend Saturn, always being, you know, this kind of same like energy and mirroring that energy and being a little bit of a, you know, you need to do you and you need to take care of that.
Yeah.
It's your job.
Yeah, and you better figure it out and don't embarrass me.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't
take too long because you're going to die. So hurry up.
Yeah, so have you thought about your 401k? You haven't?
Sucks for you.
That's interesting. Do you have life insurance?
Yeah.
Do you think you're going to live forever?
Yeah. That's weird.
Don't know who told you that, but I'm here to tell you that that's not accurate. So you might want to do something about that. Anyway, on to what I was doing.
Yes, and this reminds me too, just like a umbrella quality of earth signs is this realism.
Oh my gosh.
Just the realist.
Mm-hmm. Very, yes.
Unapologetically so. Just like, well, that's what that is, and that's how I see it, and that's what no one told you that? Well, you should know.
And it's if you ask, because this is the sort of like, I didn't come for you, you sent for me energy, much more so than like a fire sign will like volunteer it to you, like especially in Aries, where you're like, where did you come from and why are you telling me things that I don't care about or needed your input. Earth signs won't do that. They're not going to pursue you to tell you things, but you're going to go to them because they look like they have their shit together.
And they probably do.
And that's magnetic. Like, as much as it is a little bit of like a taken for granted, there's a magnetism to why does that person seem to have everything put together? They look like they know what they're doing, especially Capricorns. They're so capable.
Yeah, and I also think, though, in contrast to something like a fire sign and why Capricorn's not a fire sign, is that they're still really approachable. I think we talked about this kind of like almost intimidation factor that fire signs can have.
Yes.
And earth signs, they don't have that.
No.
Like, they'll have their shit together, that you can admire them and look up to them, but it also just feels like you can just ask them stuff.
Yeah, they are very
approachable.
Down to earth.
Down to earth.
And approachable, for sure. But it is, if you get in, like, if you ask them, you know, because they seem so capable or seem like they know, and it's like you ask them something that has a very specific answer, even if it is not a practical matter, like we're talking about money and stuff like that, because that's what we think of. But like, even if you are like, hey, I'm struggling with this relationship and I don't know what to do about this person, they will tell you that person's an idiot. I don't even know why you continue to talk to them. I told you last month not to talk to that person anymore. It's not adding to your value as a person. So what else?
I also think it's funny, though, especially with a Capricorn, which is what we're talking about. They'll rely on the research, though. They won't just be oh, this is my opinion.
Oh, no.
And now we're kind of getting closer to also like Virgo energy. Well, they'll be like, well, so I collected all of the data from everyone in the world on this issue, and let me present it to you in this graph chart.
Yeah, I disaggregated it here, and then I put it in the...
Yeah, and so all of it sums up to, I already told you last month that guy's an idiot and you need to get rid of him. Like,
I time-stamped our conversation.
There. Yeah, so, you know, maybe we can bridge into talking about Virgo for a little bit.
Yeah, we should.
Virgo's sort of like... You're like, Virgo's super complicated before I say this, actually.
Very.
And I think it has that really initial reputation of being like the most, you know, just prim and proper and organized and like taking everyone literally to school with their charts and their files and their color codes and everything else. But it's way more complexity than that, too.
Yeah, it is very painted out as like a Mary Poppins energy, practically perfect in every way, always prepared. I mean, every Virgo, though, really does have a Mary Poppins bag. I will die on that hill. I don't care. Every Virgo does. If you need a Band-Aid, you need a mint, you need a hair tie, you need a bobby pin, you need a tampon, you need a condom. A Virgo possesses these things.
If they have a bag.
If they have a bag. And they do, and it's the perfect bag. It's the bag that has the pockets that are all in it. Yes.
But I'm just saying, some genders of people don't carry bags.
That's true.
And then they're like, well, why don't you have it if you need it?
That's also true.
So, but yes, no, you're absolutely right. It's like they're always prepared.
Yeah.
Or at least mentally they've thought of it.
They have.
Maybe they don't have it, or maybe, it's like not practical for them to have
there's
it.
a reason.
There's
if
a
there
reason.
isn't,
But they're like, well, but I did think of that. And
yeah, you're not pointing something out to me that I didn't know.
no, definitely not. They're never caught unawares.
No.
They're always, I think also what's underappreciated about Virgos, although we have said it several times.
Yeah, we have.
Is like just how like personable and funny
and
yes. Like easy conversationalists that they are.
Yeah.
Because I don't think Virgos actually come across as really like stuck up.
No, I don't have that experience with Virgo. I really don't. I mean, everyone that I interact with that I know is a Virgo, right? Like,
right.
Some people I'm not going to know. But that I do. Yes, so wry. Their sense of humor is really funny. And it's sometimes under the breath or, sort of dry, but it's hilarious. Virgos are really funny.
But I think it's because they need it, like themselves, they need it to balance the other part of themselves. That is this kind of hyper intense, like bordering perfectionist kind of quality.
Which kudos to them for knowing that, but it makes sense that they do. Because there is this nurturing, healing, caring, beautiful aspect of Virgo that I also think is not talked about a lot. That's obviously information that's known, but it's not focused on. The part that's focused on is the Peter Pan collar, prim and proper vibe.
Yeah, little library core vibes. Yeah.
Yeah, which that's so cute. And
it's still super cute.
It's cute.
Still, but there is way more to it. And Virgo is the mutable earth sign.
Yeah.
Which, again, like is kind of a tough, the concept of earth being this kind of like steadfast constancy that we've talked about. Sure. Like, how is it mutable? But if you look around, like landscapes and climates change constantly. It's just kind of slower sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
It takes a lot of time to move a mountain, but mountains move.
Yes, they move. And that they are the most, in my opinion, kind of flexible, adaptable out of the earth sign.
Which it doesn't seem like.
No, it doesn't.
But I think you're right, because of that mutable quality, and the Mercury influence is their ruler too.
Huge.
They really have the ability to change their mind.
Yeah.
And it's not because they're flighty. Like, they've done all the research, they have their position, they can back it up, but they are open to hearing another position.
Absolutely.
And if they hear it or learn about it, they'll be like, in that case, okay, then I'm coming over here. Mm-hmm. And they're good with that.
Very good with that. I know people often associate or say, Libras are like the good, like kind of like lawyer personality. I would and have argued that I feel like Virgo energy lends itself like even more naturally to that, because I think they're really able to think about things from a lot of different, and it's all sort of internal. They're like doing these processes, and however long it takes them to arrive at it is however long it takes them to arrive at it, and they're not afraid to just be like, it's something I'm working on. And then sometimes it seems rigid because by the time they're expressing it outwardly, it does seem like they're kind of locked in. But it doesn't mean that all of that movement hasn't been happening. You just weren't seeing it.
Exactly. It's because when they finally get to what they land on, they've put in so much work to get there that they are really certain at that point.
Yes.
But I think Virgos are really patient.
Oh, yeah.
And really, like, nurturing and caring and really sweet.
Yes, and wonderful, like, communicators, storytellers. That Mercury influence, it gives them an airiness to their earth.
Totally.
That's why they're funny, that's funny and jovial, and
it's a little bit lighter, actually.
It's lighter.
But I think they do have both of these sides that kind of like, they coexist, but it's almost like, oh, that's all in there, huh?
I know.
Yeah.
It's fun.
I know.
Yeah.
I love it.
Same.
Okay, let's come around now to Taurus.
I love how we're just like wending our way.
I know. We just went on this little hiking trail through the earth signs.
It's cute.
I know. It's so cute.
I like it.
So,
all right, Taurus.
Taurus. Okay. I don't know. I don't think I have a history of liking Taurus energy.
No, you don't?
I don't think so.
You sure?
Current or past, I don't think. I mean,
yeah, me neither. Oh, jeez.
Anyways.
Oof. Yeah, guilty.
We've collectively been married to 3 Tauruses.
This is the truth. That is some information that she just laid on you.
Yeah, so you do the math however you want, and there's not even all the marriages accounted for.
And we're not going to we're just,
Nope.
not going to go there.
Yeah, you think about it, you figure it out.
You really put that matzo ball, you hung it right out there.
I didn't know I was going to say that.
I didn't know you were going to say that.
Sorry.
No, it's
Mercury and Leo.
Please don't be sorry. It's necessary information, just like they are necessary energy. And now I'm just thinking about the reactions we're gonna get.
I can't wait to hear what they say.
I can't wait. I don't want to hear it. Please just text me it.
No, Taurus
block you.
energy. You're gonna block me probably. Ashley's like, I'm done with this. No, I love Taurus energy, and I think Taurus, like some signs have a really different presentation depending on the gender of the person with the sign.
Yeah.
And I think all of them have differences because we're socialized in a gender way and all these kind of things. But I feel like Tauruses of any gender are usually pretty awesome.
Yeah, they are.
And pretty easy to get along with, easy to like, easy to talk to, easy to just be around.
They are. We talked about like the work thing, right? And it's like you hear that phrase like the work hard, play hard, you know, kind of thing. And for Tauruses, I always think theirs is work smart, play hard, or work smart, play harder. Because yes, for sure, like that work aspect is there with them, but it's a means to an end.
Well, because Taurus is ruled by Venus.
Yep. Which is what makes them awesome.
Yes. There's this like beautiful like 5 sensory experience, this like really like drive towards all of the things.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
And thinking about, you know, like the second house, the Taurus house,
right.
and that's kind of your money house, but it's also like, it's like all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Which, like we were saying, the literal earth, it's everywhere, it's everything.
Exactly.
And it really encompasses all of that.
Yes, and when I think of that, like that rich landscape with like all of the things involved, in my mind, Taurus is the sign I'm associating with that.
Totally.
Yeah,
Yes.
that lushness, like
Yes.
Taurus is the sign I'm associating with that.
Definitely.
Because there is, like you said, this emphasis on the senses and this like embracing of that, and they love nice things, like second house's possessions too. Like they love nice things and they want to be surrounded by them and they want other people to have them.
Yes, and like again, like kind of like what we said with Capricorn, like whatever that means to them.
Yes.
Like that is going to be a really varied aesthetic depending on who the person is. It's just whatever it means to them is what they want it to be. And they don't really care what your standard is or your judgment of it is.
They do not care. They really do not care, and they will lean in really hard to the thing that brings them that comfort.
Yeah, and if you oppose it, they might lean in even harder to that thing.
They will, and make up songs and jokes about it, and
yes, exactly,
and nicknames and
all kinds of things. They do like to have fun, though.
Oh, they're so fun loving. They do love to have fun. They're your like. You want to go to a new like brunch place that has this like amazing food and this atmosphere and whatever that's like way overpriced. Taurus is going to go.
I want to go
with
there.
you, and they'll pay for it. Like they will. You want to Netflix and chill? That they're all over that.
Yeah,
and can do that with you all day. Like they're just like that is what makes them so awesome. Like they're just really fun to be around. That energy is very pleasure seeking. So particularly if you're a person that doesn't allow yourself pleasure or it struggles maybe a little bit with allowing yourself pleasure for pleasure's sake, they will teach you that you deserve it. They don't necessarily think that you deserve it just because. They do think you kind of do have to earn it.
Exactly.
You do, but not in some crazy parameter. Usually they're not setting that up. It's just like, well, you kind of have to take care of business, and then
Right.
as much as you need to, and then yes, you get to definitely like have the things that you want and do the things that you want. It's nice. It's a good influence if you're someone who isn't comfortable with that, or you need a little bit of encouragement in that way.
I think also, like, probably the number one stereotype and sort of negative stereotype of Taurus is that they're stubborn.
Yeah.
And you kind of get that in the bull, symbolism and all of that. And I would say, in my experience with Taurus, it's not exactly that they're stubborn.
No.
It's that they're a fixed sign, like we are both fixed of our, different signs as well. They're just really certain about what they feel about something.
Yeah, they are.
And they're just not really willing to change that. Like we were saying, Virgo's also very certain about themselves, but very willing to look at and change things. Yes. Taurus just is less so. And I get how, depending on what you're trying to do, that can come off as stubborn. I know what the definition of stubborn is.
Exactly.
But I don't like the word. I feel like it's very negative.
It is
and
negative.
I feel like it's not really that negative of a quality.
No, because I don't like the word either, and I still see it pop up to define them, which kind of bothers me, because I'm like, we have so many words, you can't come up with a synonym by now, because it isn't. Because when I think of stubbornness, I think of holding on to something despite logic telling you otherwise.
Right, just digging in your heels just to be a dick.
Yeah, and certainly people are like this. Anybody can be like this. But I don't get that energy from Tauruses in general. No. If they are digging in their heels, it's usually for the same reason as the other earth signs. Like, they've done a lot of the thought behind it, a lot of the processes behind it, or they've tried it. That's the other thing with Tauruses is they are experimenters. They will try. Everyone I've ever met is like, I'll try it. I'll do it.
And I think the other thing, too, with this kind of what's called stubborn quality, is they are very much about comfort, like you're saying, in this pleasure seeking and all this. However, I think emotionally, they're also very about their comfort zone.
Bingo.
And they might appear stubborn because when pushed out of their comfort zone, they kind of freak out. They get scared. And they have to own that choice and not be pushed into it.
Yeah, no, you're totally right. That's something I glossed over a little bit, but you're totally right. It's hard for them to, but if they are able to embrace that and allow themselves to be pushed out of their comfort zone.
Or if they choose, you know what, I'm getting out of my comfort zone. Like, they will be off and freaking running. Like, they will do it.
Yeah, and you'll see them do it. And it's amazing what they can accomplish and everything. But you're right, it's hard. And there's along with that sort of like stubbornness, when people describe Taurus that way and other signs that way, whatever, there's this other side to that, which is a very sort of steadfast, loyal quality.
Yes.
And Tauruses are that to a T.
Yes, I do think that runs throughout the earth signs.
I agree.
But I think Taurus is like the center of that for sure.
Oh my gosh. Like, the loyalty is insane. And it's to people, obviously it's an interpersonal thing, relationship thing too. But like, it's a team. It's a burger place. It's a routine.
That's really funny.
And it's emotional, and it is sensual to them, and it's all of these things. And they get really excited, and they love it.
Yeah, they want their little routine, their little creature comforts, their little things, And I think that also has to do with kind of, again, going like over the differences between the three. Like, Taurus is the personal sign.
Yes.
It's like their integrity as a person and the way that they show that out in these different ways. And then you have Virgo, which is the interpersonal sign, which I think is more malleable, is more like sort of, effectual, more like nurturing and loving, like in this kind of back and forth way. Right. And then we come back to Capricorn, which is that transpersonal sign, which is much more like grandiose, but that ambition and sort of about like their position in society,
and the greater
a lot
good,
more, and the greater good, a lot more. So just kind of like bringing in those kind of differentiations as well.
It's cute. though, like with that Taurus personal, again, I get a little bit back to what I was saying. If you are someone who maybe sort of struggles with embracing that yourself, or you weren't taught to do that, if you have a Taurus that's really secure in that and really embraces that themselves, it teaches you to be that way and to really value kind of those simple pleasures, because oftentimes it is those. It can be, again, like Jackie said, it's whatever's personal to them. So it very much can be like luxurious things too, and all of these things.
But I think more often it's not.
And more often it's not, I find,
it's
with
the
Taurus.
simpler things.
Simpler things.
Sweet, simple things.
Yes.
Reliable things. It's like that earth energy stuff, you know?
And they just find so much joy. They derive so much joy from it. And it's contagious. It's cute.
No, it's true. So, I don't know. I feel like, okay. Yeah, I feel exactly how I would expect to feel after talking about earth signs for however long it has been.
I know. I'm thinking about like my favorite things and like how, I'm going to like comfort myself. Like, it's nice.
And I'm like, that was easy. And not super surprising, but also like just great. Exactly what you want. Exactly what you expect.
Yeah, I love it.
I love it too.
Like your favorite burger place.
Yes, exactly. Your favorite team.
Really cute. I love that.
So cute. Well, I guess that wraps up our discussion of earth signs. So, until next time.
Stay witchy, friends.
And stay dumb.
Dumb Witch Club is written and hosted by us, Ashley Sidner
and Jackie Gerard at the Dumb Witch Clubhouse in Orange County, California.
Produced and edited by Matt Heinemeyer. Art direction by Violet Turner. Culture consultant Jane Turner.
Original music by Ashley Sidner. Look us up on all your favorite social media platforms, including TikTok and Patreon.
Until next time, stay witchy, friends.
And stay dumb.